Hi, I'm Mark Hornsby, and I'm here with Nick DiVirgilio. And today we're in Sweetwater Studio A talking about how to get a great snare drum sound. We have two microphones set up on the snare drum. On the top of the snare, we have a short body telefunken M80 microphone. On the bottom of the snare, we have a Shure SM57. Ideally, what we want is to get the diaphragm of the microphone 45 degrees on top of the head of the snare. Now, sometimes this can be hard to do depending on the drum kit, cymbals, and that kind of thing. So you have to work with your drummer. This is your drummer. Say hi, Nick.
Hi.
To get the microphone in the right spot between the hi-hat, the snare, the tom, and make sure it's not in the way of his or her playing performance. One of the questions that comes up a lot is whether or not you need a microphone on the bottom of the snare drum. And the short answer is, why not? If you have enough inputs, if you have enough microphones, if it's there, you might be able to use it. If you don't have it, it can't help you. Nick, for example, plays a lot of ghost notes in his style of playing and stuff to where you really hear the snares on the bottom of the drum rattle. It's really hard to bring that out in a mix just off this top microphone. So if you have the bottom microphone there, it can't hurt. Let's take a listen to the Telefunken M80 on the top of the snare drum by itself with no EQ. Now let's listen to the bottom snare microphone by itself with no EQ. Now, one thing that's important to note is because it's on the bottom of the snare, we have flipped the phase or the polarity on the microphone preamp. Now let's hear the two microphones, the top and the bottom, together. Snare drums, like the rest of the kit, again are resonant instruments. So as you switch out snare drums, size, tuning, how tight the snares are on the bottom, sometimes you have to search for the resonant frequencies that may or may not be sticking their head out in the track and don't sound too great. So on this particular drum, on the top microphone, we're going to cut about 6 dB at 200 hertz. Let's take a listen to that. Now on the bottom snare mic, the biggest consideration is the diaphragm of that microphone is right beside the kick drum. So if you use a little bit of a high pass filter, say up to 100, 150 hertz, when the whole kit is being played, it'll minimize some of the low end from the kick drum bleeding into the bottom snare microphone. So here's the bottom snare mic by itself, high passed at 150 hertz. Now let's hear the two microphones with the EQ engaged together.
Mark's been talking to us about how to make the snare drum sound great with microphones and EQ, but it's worth mentioning that there are things you can do to alleviate ring and buzz and make the snare drum tone completely different by using dampening products. So here's the snare drum wide open like we've been listening to it. A little bit of ring, which might be great for a particular style of music. Now I have a small piece of moon gel, a little bit goes a long way. Put it on about 1 inch away from the rim of the drum, and now check out how the drum sounds dramatically different with this piece of moon gel on.
Of course, there's many ways to mic a snare drum, depending on the size of the snare, the type of room you're in, and the genre of music you're working on. There's many possibilities. We hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.